what if season 2 is long time gestating project coming from Marvel. We saw season 1 like more than, it's not 2 years ago, but it's more than a year and a half ago. And it got pushed back for various reasons, probably for the better, I think. And it promised to, have an episode that we missed from the first season, which was about Gamora and Tony and how they were on the Grandmaster's world. They ended up helping to face against, Infinity Ultron. So this season is also different because they released it one episode a day starting from the 21st up to the 30th of December. A very interesting release schedule. I'm thinking so as not to step on the toes of Echo, which is coming out on January 9th. And I think I didn't like the release schedule, but once I banked up episodes, it was pretty cool because I could sit and binge through them, which is weird. I usually like week to week, but either way, this season is great, actually. Like, it's so good, in fact, that it bumped out Loki season 2 in my top 5 for the year, which is saying something because I thought Loki season 2 was excellent. This show it's the promise of what anthology storytelling can be, of what comic book storytelling can be. It's just imaginative. Like, there's a lot of stuff that us nerds do when we talk about, hey, man, what if this had happened? What if that had happened? Oh, we talk about headcanon and things like that. You can tell the people that write these stories, they're those sorts of people. And they're coming up with fun and creative ways to tell MCU stories that didn't happen but could have. They are good at retaining the voices of the characters, to really dialing into the voices of the actors that played the characters. They get the voice actors, the actors to be the voice actors, which, by the way, the voice acting is damn, top notch on this. They do all of these things, kind of recontextualize various things and characters that we've seen before. But also, they take the next step of creating a completely new character in the MCU and making her story the best story of the whole season. I don't know how they did it, except that they worked very hard on it. My understanding is, and I'm talking about episode 6, which is what if Kahhori changed changed the universe? I think changed reality, something like that. But what if Kahhori reshaped the world? That's episode 6. This was about a young Mohawk woman, back in the conquistador era, who basically finds the reality gem, or the reality gem gets sent to Earth, way ahead of schedule. She finds it, gets empowered, and basically kicks ass and becomes like a real, changes her world all the way around. This, like I said, a brand new character, is voiced by Devery Jacobs, who, if you've seen any of my reviews of other things like Reservation Dogs, that I think she's a great talent. And in here, she's excellent voice acting, and it's very authentic and everything like that. It's to me, it's the best episode of the season in a season full of great episodes. Like, the least of these episodes are still really good, like really, really good episodes. The best of them are top-notch MCU, period. And I know people, they feel put off by animation and stuff like this. I think the animation is excellent. I love this style of animation. It's cel-shaded and all that stuff. I think it's great. The diversity of episodes, the type of stories they're telling. The first episode is kind of a hard-boiled detective, thriller. There's some fantasy things. There's comedy, like what if Happy Hogan saved Christmas? That was fun, and Jon Favreau kind of got to play a really fun version of Happy Hogan that gets to be sort of a Hulk. You get the Grandmaster back, and Jeff Goldblum is just hamming it up. It's beautifully done, very fun. That's the one we find out about where Gamora and Tony, join forces on Sakaar. maybe the other highlights of this season is we get to see Captain Carter several times in this episode. She's in 3 episodes of this show. One where basically they do the Winter Soldier, but with Steve Rogers as the Hydra Stomper, and you end up getting the Red Room and Melina from Black Widow. That was a dope ass episode. And really this whole season reinforced to me that I love the Captain Carter, the Captain Carter character. She's just so dynamic. There's so much fun stuff that they do with her. But also Haley Atwell is just delivering the voice acting so well in this. I really adore every time I see Captain Carter. And so, like, the way that I love Steve Rogers, they have characterized her in a way that I love Captain Carter. Like, I have the esteem. There's even a point in a later episode where she literally gets to, interact with our Steve, or a version of our Steve Rogers. So, like, the Captain America we know, and then this Captain Carter, who's very much kind of a British reflection of him, they get to fight side by side, and it is beautiful. Like, it's absolute. I love that episode. And that episode's the 1602 riff. If you know the comics, it's a riff on 1602, and it's wonderfully well told. And I almost feel like, because I know a lot of this voice stuff, the character or the people, the actors that win it, they were in a booth by themselves. They weren't in the same, but man, it feels like they were all in the same room, just going off and doing a crazy, like, romping little adventure. The 1602 one in particular, because it really is kind of the Avengers Endgame of everything, because there's so many of the heroes we know that come together for that episode. And, so many of the voice actors are, sort of their characters we didn't know they interact, and we, like, there's Bucky and Scott, Scott Lang, and seeing them side by side, I'd love to see more of that. It's a very fun episode. Another one I really liked was the What If Hela Found the 10 Rings, where essentially she goes on the hero's journey that Thor goes on, but it's with Cate Blanchett just, like, delivering the best, like, sarcastic Hela like we saw in Thor Ragnarok, and having her interact with Wen Wu, and then it just becomes the outcome of that episode. When she learns everything she needs to know from Tallow and everything. It's just an amazing fight, and like I said, wonderfully voice acted. And then finally, like I said, the Kahhori episode is probably my favorite one. But episode 9, the season finale, you ask yourself, season 1, it ended with Infinity Ultron and Killmonger, sort of going at it. How are you going to have a universe, or multiverse, threat that's equal to that? And I'm not going to spoil it too much, because I think you really should watch it, but the threat's very real. It's a bit of an okie doke, I guess you could say, but it ends with the way any of the Infinity comics, any of this multiverse stuff should end, which is a fucking free-for-all with all these weird and powerful and crazy alternate universe versions of villains and heroes just kind of going at it in the backdrop. Captain Carter figures into there very big. Kahhori is a big part of that as well. Lots of, like, it's the multiverse. They're traveling the multiverse. Of course, we can't just have a regular old punch up. It's got to be, like, ridiculously pew pew. And normally, I don't like that from Marvel, the pew pew ending, but this was very, very earned and made sense, and I did really, really love the finale of this. Especially there's a final scene. I'll spoil it because, like, it doesn't really mean anything. You should just go watch the show. But there's a final shot in the last scene of the episode that ties it directly to the end of Loki's season 2. Loki sitting on the throne, holding the multiverse together in the world tree. And you see the Watcher sees the whole entire multiverse the way we saw it. And, he's basically showing to Captain Carter the world tree and all the multiverses that, you know, that could be traversed. Beautiful. Loved it. I won't ramble anymore on about it. It's a great season. One of my favorite things comic book related this year. Worth the wait. And, you know, just letting y'all know, they teased season 3. So season 3 is definitely coming. And I think maybe even 2024. So I'm excited. This is what the MCU needs right now. I wish more people would watch the TV shows. I wish more people were not so against animation. This is the sort of excitement that Marvel needs. And they need to think about that and consider the sort of storytelling that they're doing in What If and why it's working so well and how they can incorporate that into their live action properties. So anyway, those are my thoughts on What If Season 2. What did you guys think about it? What did you think about what I had to say? Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there. And of course, you can always hit me up. supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com. Supernotfunnyshow on Threads on Instagram. super_not_funny_show on TikTok.